You are on your way to work when it happens. The check engine light blinks on. That tiny orange icon might as well be a bomb. You know what it means. If you take the car in today, the repair is probably around $300. You also know something else. Your checking account has $42 in it, and payday is 3 days away.
Well, that can't be good.
So you do what millions of Americans do every single week. You turn up the radio, you tell yourself it can wait, and you quietly hope the noise goes away. 2 months later, the car dies on the side of the freeway.
If you don't have $300
Now,
for car
it is not a $300 problem anymore. You pay $200 for a tow. The ignored part has destroyed your transmission, so the repair is $2,000. You miss 2 shifts at work and lose another $300 in income. Not having $300 did not cost you $300. It cost you $2,500. That is not bad luck. My name is MrBi, and I talk about money the way it really feels when you are the one trying to make every dollar stretch. If you are in the US, working harder every year, but your savings never seem to move, this is for you. If you feel like you are always one layoff, one medical bill, or one broken car away from disaster, this is for you. You might be living paycheck to paycheck, watching almost every cent get eaten by rent, groceries, gas, and debt payments. You do everything right and still cannot keep more than a few $100s in your account. Being broke is not just uncomfortable. Being broke is expensive. Let's zoom out for a second, because this video is not about chasing the next hot stock or the newest crypto coin. It's about something much more basic and much more brutal: the poor tax, the quiet premium you pay on almost everything when you don't have money to spare. Traditional personal finance loves to lecture you about lattes and Netflix. Stop buying coffee, cancel your subscriptions, just be more disciplined. That advice makes sense on a spreadsheet, but it completely misses how the system actually charges you. If you're on a low income, you often pay more for the same electricity, the same credit, the same groceries, simply because you can't pay up front, cannot access the best deals, or have the wrong zip code or credit score. That extra cost even has a name: the poverty premium, the financial penalty for being poor. So the real problem is not that you buy coffee. The real problem is that you pay more for everything because you're broke. Let me show you how this plays out with something simple, like a pair of work boots. Imagine 2 people doing the exact same job. One has cash in the bank and a decent credit score. The other is living paycheck to paycheck. The first one spends $80 on a solid pair of leather boots with real soles and proper stitching. He wears them for 8 or 10 years, maybe replaces the laces once, and his feet stay dry the whole time. The second one can't put $80 on a single purchase without blowing up his month. So he buys the $20 boots with cardboard soles and cheap glue. They look fine for a season. Then the rain comes, the sole cracks, and his socks are soaked. Next year, he buys another $20 pair, then another, and another. Over the same decade, the broke worker spends $200 on boots and still has wet feet. The rich worker spends $80, stays dry, and keeps the extra $120 in his pocket. That's the boots theory in action. When you can't afford quality, you don't just buy worse stuff. You end up paying more for worse results over and over. Once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. It's not just boots. It's your groceries, your utilities, your credit, your entire cost of living. Take something as boring as paper towels or laundry detergent. If you have room in your budget and some storage space, you buy the jumbo pack on sale at a big box store. On a per-unit basis, you might pay 20, 30, or even 50% less than the sticker price on the small size. If you're barely surviving, you don't have $40 or $50 to park in a giant pack of anything. You walk to the corner store, you buy the smallest bottle or the 2-roll pack because that's all your wallet can handle today. The price per ounce, per sheet, per roll is quietly much higher. Over 12 months, that tiny difference compounds into hundreds of dollars in extra cost for the exact same products. You're not getting better quality, you're not getting better service. You're just paying more because you can't commit a large amount up front. The same thing happens with utilities and financial services. Households with thin credit files or missed payments get hit with deposits, connection fees, prepayment meters, and higher tariffs. People in low-income areas are more likely to use fee-charging ATMs, check-cashing stores, and high-cost short-term credit just to bridge gaps in cash flow. On paper, these all look like small, separate charges. In reality, they form one big invisible invoice, the poverty premium. Money you pay not for extra value, but for the privilege of being poor. So the real problem is not that you buy coffee. The real problem is that you pay more for everything because you're broke. This is where the conversation gets uncomfortable, because none of this is an accident. For a lot of companies, your financial fragility is not a tragedy, it's a business model. Look at how high-cost lenders and buy-here, pay-here car lots operate in the U.S. They intentionally target customers with damaged or limited credit histories. They advertise no credit check, instant approval, and drive away today, knowing that those phrases are rocket fuel when you're desperate. In exchange, you pay double-digit interest rates, inflated prices, and a long list of fees that would shock a prime borrower. Miss a payment, and the penalties stack. Fall behind, and in some contracts, they can take back the car and keep most of what you already paid. The same logic applies across the financial system. Late fees, overdraft fees, disconnection fees, reconnection fees, these are not rounding errors. They generate billions of dollars every year, heavily concentrated on households with the lowest incomes and the least savings. From the top of the balance sheet, it looks efficient and rational. From the bottom, it feels like every mistake costs 3 times as much as it should. Being broke is not just hard. For many institutions, it's profitable. So where do you actually start if you're stuck in this system? Not with chasing the next 10x investment, but with building a small, boring buffer. For most households, that means getting to your first $500 or $1,000 in pure emergency savings. Not in crypto, not in a risky stock, but in a simple, boring account you can access in days. That money is not there to make you feel rich. It's there so a flat tire, a copay, or a small repair doesn't turn into a payday loan or a maxed-out credit card. An emergency fund is like shock absorbers on a car. It doesn't make the road smooth, but it stops every bump from breaking the chassis. At the same time, any extra cash you free up should usually go towards killing high-interest debt before you worry about beating the market. If your credit card or personal loan is charging you 18 or 20%, paying that off is a guaranteed double-digit return with zero risk. A small buffer plus aggressive attacks on your most expensive debt is not glamorous, but it's exactly how you start stepping out of the poor person penalty box and into a position where money finally works for you instead of against you. Once you understand the mechanics, your next move is not to feel guilty. Your next move is to run an audit on your own life. Take a piece of paper and list every place you're paying a premium because you're broke or financially fragile. That might include overdraft fees, late fees, high-interest credit cards, subprime car loans, convenience store groceries, or prepaid phone and utility plans with higher rates. Then circle the 1 or 2 things that are doing the most damage each month. Maybe it's a 24% APR car loan. Maybe it's recurring overdrafts. Maybe it's a buy now, pay later spiral on essentials. Your goal over the next few months is not to fix everything at once. It's to attack the biggest leak with focus. That might mean cutting back aggressively in non-critical areas, picking up a side gig, or selling unused items, not as random extra income, but as a targeted strike to refinance, pay off, or renegotiate that one expensive problem. Every poor tax you remove permanently is a raise you've given yourself. It's a bill you never have to pay again. Before we wrap up, I want you to hear this clearly. Being behind financially is not proof that you're lazy, stupid, or broken. A huge part of what you're fighting is structural math. Higher prices, higher interest, higher fees, higher risk, all concentrated on the people with the least room for error. It takes far more energy to go from zero savings to your first few thousand than it does to go from there to real wealth. Because at the beginning, every surprise hits you at full force. But once you start building even a small buffer, killing off one expensive debt at a time, and refusing to pay for disposable, low-quality solutions, the math slowly tilts back in your favor. You